Tonight on Obscured Reality, join us for a special April Fool's Day episode. Let's take a deep dive into this very special day and check out the history as well as some of the past jokes that have been played and see what's really going on with this very special day. Honestly, this episode's no joke. Sit down, sit back, and relax, and join us on our journey through Obscured Reality.
Welcome to another episode of Obscured Reality. Join your hosts, Mark and Stephanie, as they take you through a journey of the extraordinary, bizarre, and often frightening world of the unknown. Explore topics of the paranormal, UFOs, alien abduction, lost civilizations, mythical monsters, and other unexplained mysteries. Come along with us as we transcend into another dimension of obscured reality.
Welcome back to Obscured Reality. I'm your host, Mark, and your co-host, Stevie.
Hi.
Hi. Got a quick start there with no warning.
No, not at all. That was the look of, oh, shh. Got caught trying to move my plate of pepper pieces.
Well, we got a little interesting show for you tonight, guys. Hopefully you'll find it knowledgeable. But first, we have an announcement. I should say because Steve doesn't know what it is. I don't think she'll be a little too pleased when I tell her. But for her and you guys out there, I'm going to have to take a minor pause on Obscured Reality for a while. Probably a few months. Could be longer. Slight chance it might be indefinite. But, yeah, shocker to me too. But I'll explain after the show.
You could just leave me in suspense this whole time?
Well, yeah,
because
we're on live now. I can't explain this. But we do have a show for tonight, and we still have some to release in the meantime.
Yeah.
So there's that. But let's just move on to the show, and we'll talk after the show. Do you have any clue what tonight's show is about?
No, that is part of why I'll enjoy this so much, is because it's just, I have no idea what's going to be coming for me every night. In terms of stories.
Two shockers for you tonight then. Do you want to take a stab at it or no?
I'm going to say it's either a UAP or a Bigfoot.
Well, no. But I'll use this as a segue. It's been a really long time since I've tried or even been able to pull over a good April Fool's prank on anyone. But tonight's the night. Tonight's show's about April Fools. And Obscured Reality is going nowhere. It's staying right here, folks. Got Stephanie.
Blur this out.
Nope. I didn't think that would work. I figured you would have got that right away because you said yesterday it was April Fool's.
Oh, God. Thank you for being the only one who's tried to prank me today, because the Lord tested me today at work.
Who? Who?
The Lord. The Lord, because he's the only person who could be sending these people to me. So,
hey,
good on you.
People are people. Right. What do you do? Well, yeah, so
it's above my pay grade, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was about to be like, what happened? But all right. You got me.
I figured no better day than April 1st to look into the history of April Fools. I have no clue why people do it, why I do it, why you do it. It's a thing. And we're all scared to do it at work anymore. But
I've noticed that it hasn't been heavily celebrated day the older I get.
Yeah, probably because the people you're around are aging with you and probably don't care as much anymore either.
And then like trying to like surprise or prank kids these days, they're just kind of like, what?
Yeah.
Cool.
Prank kids
and
every
I'm like,
day. It's like April 1st is no different.
yeah, they're just like meh about it. And it's like such an emotion, but
yeah. Well, yeah. Let's
All
look into
right.
the history of April Fools. I had no clue what to expect on it. I mean, I know
This
now.
will be fun. This
But,
will be fun. I'm interested in this. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. So I mean, surprisingly, the origins of April Fools is unknown. Yeah, but there's some guesses. It is unknown though. However, it dates pretty far back. I'm surprised. So there's going to be a lot of information in here. There's some stuff, excuse me, people, that I'll probably try to skip over, but there was just too much on this. So there is a disputed association between April 1st and foolishness. This is in Geoffrey Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales, 1392.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, in pretty far back. In the Nun's Priest's Tale, a vain cock chanticleer. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. You
cannot pause after saying the first word, okay?
I know, but unfortunately it's a tough word after it. Oh, Jesus. I didn't even realize the word vain was in front of it either. VAIN, folks. Jesus. Oh, obscured reality, folks. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and comment some more. A vain cock chant clear.
Hit that bell for subscription.
Hey, I didn't type this crap up.
Oh God!
Hey, would it surprise you if the vain cock chanticleer was tricked by a fox?
I cannot take this seriously for the rest of the show because I am a child. I am a 37-year-old child.
It's funny your mind went there because it would normally be like me and Mike, or me, Mike, and Brad, and you're sitting there like, oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Guys, boys.
So the other side of the family is still all like male cousins, so that's just what I know. And also, that's what she said is like my favorite joke of all time to catch people in, to the point where like, yes, and then you follow up with last night. Like if someone else said that's what she said, you say last night, and they look at you like, what? It's greatest thing ever. Well, I find the humor to be the best humor.
Yeah. Well, let's see if there's any way we can power through just this one sentence. So,
that's what she said.
A vain cock, that's what she said, chanticleer, is tricked by a fox on, quotes, since March began 30 days and 2, as in quotes. So that's, from the book.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. That would be April 1st.
Yeah. I.e., 32 days since March began, which is April 1st. However, it's
really
not
weird way
clear.
To put it.
Yeah, it's not clear that Chaucer was referencing April 1st, since the text of the Nun's Priest's Tale also states that the story takes place on the day when the sun is in the sign of Taurus and Rune 20 degrees and 1, which would not be April 1st. Modern scholars believe that there is a copying error in the extant manuscripts, and that Chaucer actually wrote, "Sin March was gone." Weird spellings, too. If so, the passage would have originally meant 32 days after March, i.e., May 2nd, the anniversary of the engagement of King Richard of England to Anne of Bohemia, which took place in 1381. So it's just a possibility.
That makes sense because Taurus starts on the 22nd or 21st of April.
And if you want to blame anybody for the confusion, I'd start by blaming the vain cock, Chanticleer. That is what she said in 1508. The French poet Eloy D'Amerval referred to a poison, Diavril, April Fool, literally April's fish, possibly the first reference to the celebration in France. Some historians suggest that April Fools originated because, in the Middle Ages, New Year's Day was celebrated on March 25th in most European towns, with a holiday that in some areas of France, specifically ended on April 1st.
Pause.
And those who yeah.
What? New Year's was celebrated on March 29th or 20-something?
In the Middle Ages. And
so like, what changed? What just designated that magically January 1st is the... Okay, that's probably another story for another day, but like...
Well, it was a long time ago, and you're talking about France. You're talking about France, Europe, so...
True, but like, how did it get designated for like January 1st if it was oddly the 20th something of March? I'm sorry, that's just very strange to me.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe it's because the equinox and they just consider that like the beginning of the year because that's the beginning of when things got planted. Spring, new life, new age. Like maybe that's it. Paired up with the equinox, but that's the only thing I can think of. But like, what the heck?
And I'm not, I forget what the fiscal year is, but isn't the fiscal year start around like March or something like that? Or that's a beginning of like one
I
of
think
the
it depends on the
something?
company because like my fiscal year technically starts in February for my company,
Okay.
at least based on our commission structure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, yeah. So.
Okay. That's weird. But...
let's see. Where do we leave off? New Year's Day was celebrated on March 25th in most European towns. Okay. With a holiday that in some areas of France specifically ended on April 1st. And those who celebrated New Year's Eve on January 1st made fun of those who celebrated on other dates by the invention of April Fool's Day. The use of January 1st as New Year's Day became common in France only in the mid-16th century. And that date was not adopted officially until 1564 by the Edict of Roussillon. No heavy pronunciation there. As called for during the Council of Trent in 1563. However, there are issues with this theory because there is an unambiguous reference to April Fool's Day in a 1561 poem by Flemish poet Edward de Dayne of a nobleman who sends his servants on foolish errands on April 1st, predating the change. April Fool's Day was also an established tradition in Great Britain before January 1st was established as the start of the calendar year. So, in that possibility, it looks like that predates the start of the calendar year. So New Year's, I mean, could make sense. They'd have it on different days. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But you're talking about different countries, and people do things differently. So
different. I mean, especially at that time, everything was so separated and different with the different, empires reigning this of that, or geez, yeah.
Well, I'm definitely surprised to hear as far back as 1392. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that I necessarily had any good idea. I never cared, never thought about it. But now hearing it, I'm like, I guess I would have thought a little more recent.
Yeah, honestly, a lot more recent. Like I'm thinking like 1800s, 18th century, like something
I'd
like
be thinking that. Yeah. Huh. Well, moving on. Yeah. Although no biblical scholar or historian is known to have mentioned a relationship, some have expressed the belief that the origins of April Fool's Day may go back to the Genesis flood narrative. In a 1908 edition of the Harper's Weekly, cartoonist Bertha R. McDonald wrote, "Authorities gravely back with it to the time of Noah and the Ark. the London Public Advertiser of March 13th, 1769 printed, "The mistake of Noah sending the dove out of the ark before the water had abated on the first day of April, and to perpetuate the memory of this deliverance, it was thought proper, whoever forgot so remarkable a circumstance, to punish them by sending them upon some sleeveless errand similar to that ineffectual message upon which the bird was sent by the patriarch."
That is a lot of words to say nothing with.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, to me, it's pretty much in the first sentence there.
Yeah.
The mistake of Noah sending the dove out of the ark before the water had abated. I mean,
but here's
that's
the thing.
what the
How
point
did
is.
we know it was April 1st that this happened? Not only that, but they had 2 less months in their calendar than we did.
How do we know it happened?
That I'm strictly saying this on the possibility that
Right.
it did.
I mean,
happen.
there is an invisible pink elephant orbiting the Earth right now as well. I wrote a book about it, so it's true. More on that later.
You know what? Also, the Pastafarian is the true God. So, like, but let's just assume that actually has any basis of truth to it. How the heck do we know that at first it was April 1st? And second off, like, their entire calendar is different than ours. They worked off probably a lunar calendar at the time, which is what a lot Muslims still run off of a lunar calendar, and so do the Jewish. So like, who's to say that's not what they did? Only I believe it was July and August got added in like later on.
Yeah, and even if they use similar names for the months, I mean, something could have been changed much, much, much later down the line. And April 1st, might be might have been in winter back then, whereas it's changed to wherever it's at now, spring. Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess depending on what part of the country you're in, it's April 1st, and I've had tornado watches, warnings, and snow all in one day, and I'm not even playing about that.
Yeah, the middle of the United States. Feel sorry for you guys. We have earthquakes out here. You guys have tornadoes, and the tornadoes damage crap every year. Wish it didn't happen. I'm glad I don't live there.
In all honesty, the area that I live in is in a valley, so we don't get hit with tornadoes all that often. Like, the surrounding area does. No, hops right over us. It doesn't go in; it just goes bloop right over. It's kind of cool.
Big valley.
Well, I'm by the river, so like
a whole state of a valley.
No, okay, so look, like just south of me, like all of 10 minutes south of me, there was tornado sirens going off, like based on what my customers had said, and then also Anthony is in Indy right now at his house, and he woke up to tornado sirens as well, and he lives downtown Indianapolis. So, but I also, as you already know, can sleep through a freaking earthquake. So I didn't actually. We were doing the podcast when this all was going down, and supposedly I didn't hear squat. Yeah, and like, I would have with this mic, I would have heard something if like a freight train was rolling in.
Tornadoes in a major city like Indianapolis, you don't put those together in your head.
It's a thing, dude. It's a thing. It's definitely a thing. Yeah. But like, no, where I live, I'm like super lucky because I'm right by the river, so I'm in a depression, so I don't get hit where I am very often. You should
see a doctor. Get some therapy.
It's so loft. So loft.
Just make sure he's not a vain cock. It's going to be hard to let this go, guys.
I mean, he's a doctor. I'm sure he is a vain cock. So,
right?
I mean.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, no offense, doctors. I mean,
officially a running joke.
There's good, there's bad. Everyone's different. All right, let's look at some of the customs.
Yeah.
So, in the UK, an April Fool prank is sometimes later revealed by shouting "April Fool" at the recipient.
I'm pretty sure they do that here as well.
Yeah. Who becomes the April Fool? A study in the 1950s by folklorists Iona and Peter Opie found that in the UK and
That's a great last name.
Yeah, and in countries whose traditions derived from the UK, this continues to be the practice, with the custom ceasing at noon after which time it is no longer acceptable to play pranks. Thus, a person playing a prank after midday is considered the April Fool themselves. Now that's interesting.
That's you.
Well, that's interesting to me because
I've never heard that.
I've never heard that.
Mm-mm.
And at the times where people I've been around people that wanted to play pranks, or maybe I've tried to,
Mm-hmm.
I have always felt like there's a stopping point somewhere here. Like, you can't be doing this at 5:00. But I guess it's all dependent on if you've already done it earlier in the day or not, But it's funny because I've always had that feeling, and it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's April 1st, so anytime within that 24-hour period works. But let's see.
I don't know. I think the later on in the day that it goes, like the meaner it kind of is. Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, I've been there, done that.
Yeah. Well, in Scotland, April Fool's Day was originally called Huntagok Day. The name is a corruption of Hunt the Gawk, which is Gowk, being Scots for a cuckoo or a foolish person. Alternative terms in Gaelic would be, I can't pronounce this, so I'm not even gonna try. Yeah. I'll just go to the English of it. Gawking
Gaelic
Day
is hard.
Yeah, Gawking Day. Or Laruith na Cuthage, the day of running the cuckoo. The traditional prank is to ask someone to deliver a sealed message that supposedly requests help of some sort. In fact, the message reads, Dinah laugh, Dinah smile, hunt the gawk another mile. The recipient, upon reading it, will explain they can only help if they first contact another person, and they send the victim to this next person with an identical message with the same result. Ugh.
That just sounds tiresome.
Very tiresome, and
good Lord.
It sounds like everyone's in on it. Like it's more of a tradition if everyone is in on it. Like, oh, you gave me a note to go deliver an urgent message to someone. Okay, happy April Fools, and you go do it. Here's your message. And then and
it's just like the next person and the next person and the next person has to do it. So like if you handed me a note, now I got to run off and give it to some rando.
Right. What's going to happen if I don't? Yeah, it seems very tiresome. You're right.
That's not nearly as cool as the singing horse at your door in Wales on Christmas.
I don't know about that, but
it's a horse skull on a stick, and it raps at you, and you have to rap back why it's not allowed to come in your house. It's a Welsh
at least that's kind of
tradition.
interesting. I could throw out a quick rap if no one's watching.
I mean, I
do it all the time.
But then do it in Welsh.
Huh?
See?
Me speak English.
Have you ever heard someone from Wales talk in English? Like, they might as well be speaking their own language because they have a very, very heavy accent. Like, I thought Scottish was heavy. The Welsh are heavy. But yeah, rapping skull. So, I mean, at least that's cool. This is just tedious.
Yeah, very, very much. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, and it's not even funny.
Not really. No. Especially if everyone's in on it. It's like, it's just lame to me, but whatever.
That's like a day where I would hide in my house and just, tradition. That's something I would hide in my house just to avoid so that no one could be like, hey, here's a letter that's super urgent. I gotta go find more people.
Yeah.
I would hide in my house.
Yeah. Let's go to England. In England, a fool is known by a few different names around the country, including Noodle, Gob, Gobby, or Naughty. I prefer Noodle.
That goes back to the macaroni thing I was talking about the other day. Stuck a noodle in his hat and called it macaroni.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty clear to see. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. Ireland. It's traditional to get drunk, say April Fools, and beat everyone up in a bar. just kidding. In
I was gonna say,
Ireland,
that's so Irish, but okay.
I know, it was traditional to entrust the victim with an important letter to be given to a named person. That person would read the letter, then ask the victim to take it to someone else, and so on. The letter, when opened, contained the words, "Send the fool further." Oh, I roll my eyes because, again, same as the other one.
Right, so like this poor
Come
person
on.
just gets rickrolled all over town.
Yeah, no wonder they like to fight.
That would be much more fun if I was already 2 sheets to the wind by 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be a
Mhm.
rough night. Especially if you keep getting them damn letters from people.
I mean, if
They're
you
like, "Oh, I
have-
gotta do it again.
If you have Dr. Vanecock over here, it probably is a
Take
long
'em all to
night.
him. Take them all to him. He'd probably get so pissed off his veins would start bulging out of his forehead. Whoa, whoa,
This
whoa.
is not, we are never
right,
going
all
to
right.
end that conversation.
Right. Yeah. In Italy, France, Belgium, and French-speaking areas of Switzerland and
Okay.
Canada, the April 1st tradition is often known as April Fish. Blah blah blah. I'm not going to go over
April
that.
Fish.
Yeah, possible
Interesting.
pranks. Possible. Now I mentioned April Fish earlier on too.
You did.
So it's it's all originating back from there. Possible pranks include attempting to attach a paper fish to the victim's back without being noticed. This fish feature is prominently present on many late 19th to early 20th century French April Fool's Day postcards.
That's hilarious. I am down for that one because
Yeah.
I do enjoy slapping a random sticker on
Yeah.
someone's back at work.
We used to do that at
And-
work back in the day.
Oh, I still do it. We have these we have these security stickers that we put over people's addresses when we throw their boxes out.
Oh, I
And-
got one for you.
Oh man, I love coming up to someone and like whapping them on the back, being like, "You're doing a good job today, buddy," and like walking away, and they're like, "What?" It's like, yeah.
back in the day, my first job was at a grocery store.
Oh,
And
Lord.
this was basically back then they had, how they had the little metal detector sensor things, whatever they are, at the front doors of the grocery stores. Well,
Mhm.
what they had was these little square stickers. They're white, and on the back, on the sticky side, if you
Yeah.
look in there, it's a bunch of like metal wires wrapped around or whatever.
Mhm.
And those are
Mhm.
placed on or in certain products. And
Yeah,
if they go out,
and
the bells
it
go off, right?
beeps. Yeah.
So we'd have a roll of those up at the check stands. We'd just bring a roll up there, hide them right behind the cash machine. No one would know. And we'd be sitting there bagging groceries. And every once in a while, we'd just take a sticker off and put it in their bag of groceries. And they'd go out, and it'd just see like when people go out, how they react. If they react, some people would flip out. They come back in, check their bags, blah, blah, blah. It was pretty funny for a time. Only did it a few times.
Only a few times.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Yeah.
This is still with the Italy, France, Belgium, Canadian, Switzerland. Many newspapers also spread a false story on April Fish Day, and a subtle reference to a fish is sometimes given as a clue to the fact that it is an April Fool's prank.
So it's a very fishy story. I had to.
That makes sense.
I had to. I'm
No, that
sorry.
makes. I didn't think of that. That makes total sense. I mean,
It's very fishy.
maybe that's where that comes from.
Hey, you never know.
So the Danes, Finns, Icelanders, Norwegians, and Swedes celebrate April Fool's Day.
So the Vikings.
Well, they celebrate April Fool's Day.
How so? I'm kind of curious
End
now.
sentence. Most news media outlets will publish exactly one false story on April 1st. For newspapers, this will typically be a first-page article, but not the top headline. I see where
So like a
some
column headline,
issues.
a column story. I see that.
Yeah.
I get it.
In Poland, Prima April, the 1st of April, in Latin, as a day of pranks is a centuries-long tradition. I mean, it sounds like it is everywhere, guys.
Yeah.
It is a day when many pranks are played. Sometimes very sophisticated hoaxes are prepared by media, which often cooperate to make the information more credible. And
That's amazing.
Media making information credible.
Oh,
and
what?
even public institutions. Yeah.
Trying to make fake information credible? What?
Right.
No, not the media. Never.
Serious activities are usually avoided. Every word said on April 1st could be untrue. The conviction for this is so strong that the Polish anti-Turkish alliance with Leopold I, signed on April 1st, 1683, was
Polish
backdated.
anti-Turkish alliance. Oh, that's very, very direct. Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Very. Was backdated to March 31st. However, for some in Poland, Prima April ends at noon of April 1st, and Prima April jokes after that hour are considered inappropriate and not classy. In Poland, April Fool's Day.
There we go. That's another country that does that. Interesting.
Right. It's widely celebrated in Odessa and has the special local name Humorina. Obviously humor. In Ukrainian,
Polish?
Yeah, basically Ukrainian. This holiday arose in 1973. An April Fool prank is revealed by saying, I can't read this. I mean, give me a break.
Basically, April Fools.
Basically, what it means is 1st of April, I trust nobody, to the recipient. The festival includes a large parade in the city center, free concerts, street fairs, and performances.
Okay,
I'm
that's fine.
moving. Festival participants dress up in a variety of costumes and walk around the city, fooling around and pranking passerbys. One of the traditions on April Fool's Day is to dress up the main city monument in funny clothes. That'd be fun. Humorina even has its own logo, a cheerful sailor in a life belt, whose author was the artist Arkady Tsyukun. Tsykun. During the festival, special souvenirs bearing the logo are printed and sold everywhere. Since 2010, April Fool's Day celebrations include an international clown festival, and both celebrated as one.
Oh, sorry, cat. My hatred of clowns just disturbed the cat. Sorry. No, clowns, negative. No, not at all. Ever.
You're one of those people.
Rodeo clowns, yes. Rodeo clowns are the only clowns that get a pass in my book.
I knew someone once that was, I temporarily knew them that was deathly afraid of clowns, like to the extent you're like, God, this is a real thing.
I'm not deathly afraid.
I sent her a text message picture of one once. Yeah. Well, in 29,
I got tormented as a child. Remember the show Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yeah, there was a clown episode. Messed me up, man. And then it came out, and that did not help. And then John Wayne Gacy, and that did not help. And at this point, I'm good. Good on clowns. They're just terrifying. They're all bad.
Killer clowns from outer space.
Yeah, see? This is more and more evidence.
Yep. So, in 2019, the festival was dedicated to the 100th anniversary of the Odessa Film Studio, and all events were held with an emphasis on cinema.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay.
Yeah. In many Spanish-speaking countries and the Philippines, Dia de los Santos Inocentes, Holy Innocents Day, is a festivity which is very similar to April Fool's Day.
I really don't feel like it's holy or innocent, but okay.
Yeah. But it is celebrated in late December, 27th, 28th, or 29th, depending on the location. December.
So
April Fool's Day. It's December.
December Fool's Day.
No, April Fool's Day.
I mean, in December. A little late or early, depending on how you want to play this.
I mean, I would have no choice but to do that if I live there. It'd be April Fool's Day in December. I mean, it's just so lame.
Yeah, I would April Fool's them on April Fool's, and they'd be like, "What is wrong with this asshole?"
Yeah, it's not December. How dare her?
I know.
Wow, don't move there. I'd have a hard time, man, with that.
Yeah, I would. They also take siestas in the middle of the day, and I would have a hard time with that because I would like forget something at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Fine
I'd
with
run
me.
out, and everyone's closed and sleeping, and I'm like, ah. That's how my life. That's how my life operates.
I'd be sleeping too. Hey,
Fair.
Turkey.
Yeah,
We're gonna get into some interesting stuff here.
Yeah.
Interesting meaning just the countries to me, anyways. But Turkey also has a custom of April Fool's pranks. Pranks and jokes are usually verbal and are revealed by shouting "Burn Nissan!" April 1st.
Burn the sun.
Burr Nissan. BIR and then NISAN. Burr Nissan. I don't know how to pronounce.
Seriously, that sounds like
come on.
a car dealership. Burn Nissan.
Well, yeah. You won't get a lemon. You'll get a turkey. So now, this is where I was really surprised starting here.
Mm-hmm.
In Iran, I just don't see April Fools happening in a place where bullets and missiles are flying like that. There's so much hostility.
There's so much more than just bullets and missiles.
Yes.
There's missing women for not wearing hijab, and
Yep, exactly. And
there's a whole humanitarian crisis going on.
Oh, big time. Yeah, and that's one of many reasons why I'm just like I saw Iran and I was like, what?
Them being funny, like.
Oh, I see an April Fool's prank there is death.
I don't see the government as having the capability of being funny or allowing their people even to be funny for a day. Yes.
Allowing it, yes.
I mean, they don't allow pretty much anything at this point, so this is very surprising.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens there. I'm not even going to pronounce how they say it, but it means lie of 13. And people and media prank on 13 Farvardin, Sizda Badar. Sorry, guys. I have no
What is this in English?
That is equivalent of April 1st.
So that they.
I'm curious what.
I'm very confused on that one. Like, what do they do?
I am too.
Like, are they just like verbal jokes?
Maybe we'll find out. Yeah. Just remember, the lie of 13. It's called the lie of 13, and people in media prank on 13 Farvardin, or Sizda Badar, which is the equivalent of April 1st. So, hang on.
Okay. So, yeah.
It is a tradition that takes place 13 days after the Persian New Year, Nowruz, Nowruz. So, there's your 13, I guess.
So the Persian New Year is also in March.
I don't know. Should look that up.
13 days. Okay, yeah. Well, it was like 13 days after, right? I'm totally Googling it.
Yeah, 13 days after the Persian. Just look up Persian New Year. It's called Nowruz, Nowruz.
Nowruz. Oh.
When's the Persian New Year? Guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and comment.
It is
Nowruz.
It was Monday, March 20th. So it has come and passed.
Okay.
So
13 days from there is a little into April.
Yeah, not perfectly. I mean, I'm sure it probably changes the date based on like maybe like lunar. I'm gonna check previous years to see. No.
Well, let's see what they do on this day.
Yeah.
People go out and leave their houses and have fun outside, mostly in natural parks. Again, this is Iran. Pranks have reportedly been played on this holiday since 536 BC in the Achaemenid Empire. I mean, I believe it, right? Like, if that's
BC?
what they do, that's what they do. Yeah, but I just have a hard time believing this in Iran. Like,
okay, look. Previous Iran, I can understand. Current Iran, I cannot.
Right. So it says on this day, people go out and leave their houses and have fun outside. To me, it would seem more true if it said on this day, males go out and leave their houses and have fun outside. Like, I just have a hard time believing this.
I mean, I do.
I mean,
like I said, strictly in the modern day Iran sense, I have a hard time believing this. If it was pre-Islamic Revolution, 1970s, 60s Iran, absolutely can believe it. Absolutely can. Oh God, that poor
hey,
country.
if any of you out there are Iranian, have a background in it, whatever, let us know what you think. Or
tell us.
I mean, this is what I found. I completely believe it. It just seems so crazy to me that that's allowed in a place like Iran, and it should be allowed. Completely should be, but I just don't see that there.
Yeah.
Well, Israel. We don't have much on Israel, but they've also adopted the custom. Moving on to Lebanon. An April Fool prank is revealed by saying, it doesn't even look like letters. It translates to 1st of April lie to the recipient. So looks like another message toting day. But I was curious to see those last 2 or 3 countries participating in this.
Yeah, I agree.
It's sad. I mean, we even have to think that. It really is freaking sad, but Jesus. Hopefully that's really is true, and everyone is allowed to have a little bit of fun,
even if it's okay.
April
Fool's Day.
What are you looking up there?
I the whole April Fool's and Iran thing, like,
oh jeez,
I'm sorry, I'm like super stuck on that.
What you find? Because next up we got some pranks, just a few, but
yeah, no, I'm looking at probably the same thing you saw. Lie the 13th. It's the Wikipedia page for it. It's just like, I just find it funny.
Yeah,
only on the 13th day. Oh, same.
Did I just say it a minute ago? Yeah, like, share, subscribe, comment down below.
Yeah, you
comment
did.
Down below if you've done or had some really good April Fool's pranks played on you. I don't know that I've had any really good ones on me. If I did, nothing memorable. I mean, I remember I've had a few. I've done a few, but nothing great.
Yeah.
We'll see some interesting ones here in a minute, though. Which
yes. Do
as
a video
soon as I
picture?
But as soon as I read it, I was like, oh Jesus, I got to do that like within the next week. I just don't want to get the wrong person.
Oh God, there's a couple of pranks that I've seen, not necessarily April Fool's ones, but like in general pranks that I'm like, that's a good one.
Well, let's see if you like any of these.
Yes.
So a common prank is to carefully remove the cream from an Oreo cookie and replace it with toothpaste. I want to do it.
That's a fight.
I want to do it.
Don't touch my Oreos. That
I think it says do not ingest on the tube of toothpaste.
Yes. I mean, depends on the brand that you buy, but yes. Shout out to Boca for having edible toothpaste.
You'll get a chocolatey, minty mouth. You know what else you could do just to make that one even better? Instead of removing all the cream, just take a knife and cut out a circular pattern of cream in the middle and just leave an outside ring. That way, when you put it back together, 100% guaranteed nothing will even be noticed. Yeah. Man, I want to do it. I want to do it so bad.
2 things. One, there's actual chocolate toothpaste. It's a thing.
Do you remember chocolate soda back in the day? Oh my God, it was nasty. I used to go to the beach.
Remember the Orbits stuff like that, that you know what I'm talking about, that horrible 80s, 90s thing that had like those beads that like would just like be suspended in the actual liquid itself.
Yeah, there was a chocolate soda. My mom would always take me to the beach with one of our friends and their daughter, and every once in a while I'd be like, get the chocolate soda. And they, it was rare, but once in a while, they get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like, I don't know why I even wanted it because it really wasn't good. It wasn't good at all.
You forgot and your brain had to be reminded that it was kind of terrible. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, you guys remember that chocolate soda? Let me know. I'm curious.
I'm really curious. Yeah. Yeah. It sounds nasty. I am kind of curious about like who made that.
Yeah. Well, another prank, replacing sugar with salt. Duh. People do that all the time.
Fact. Late Uncle Lee did that to Grandpa, and it was bad. It was bad. Dad told me the story, and apparently, like Grandpa took one sip of coffee, and you could just tell on his face that it was over, and like Lee ran from the room. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I wouldn't mind trying it. Not tasting it, but trying it on someone.
Oh.
We have vanilla frosting with sour cream. So I guess it, looks like vanilla frosting, but tastes like sour cream.
Oh god, that's like the mayo trick.
Well, here's the thing. So some people, especially like kids, they're fine just eating gobs of things like sour cream, right?
Ingredient children, yes.
Right. I think of the vanilla frosting with sour cream as okay.
Carrot cake icing.
Some people are. I'm sure plenty of you guys out there are going to be like, "What? I mean, sour cream's not bad. Like, I love sour cream. Blah blah blah. I like sour cream too on my food. Like, I will not eat it separately. But for those of you that are like, I love sour cream. Like, I could eat a spoonful, whatever. Think of it this way: you're expecting to bite into something
sweet and vanilla
with a completely different flavor than what you get. We've
and
all had that happen to us.
And a texture.
Well, yeah, but we've all had that happen to us with plenty of things, I'm sure. I remember it happening a few times in my life where I thought I was going to bite into something, and I think it was usually with drinking something. Like, think about this. Let's say you go to McDonald's or something, and you go fill up your cup with Coke, and it turns out it's out of syrup. But for whatever reason, let's just say, let's do like Sprite, right? Because it's clear.
Yeah, so you can't tell.
But it's out of syrup, so you can't tell. And you take a sip and it's just straight up soda water. You're like, oh my God, this is nasty. Whereas if you knew it was soda water,
you be just expecting the bitter.
Right. And you could at least take a sip and be okay, but you're totally expecting something else. So you're ingesting way more of it into your mouth than you would if you knew what it was, That's
gross.
That's the way I think of that. But
I like sour cream cake and I like sour cream icing. But again, that's something totally different than
you want to hear
like now.
Something,
it'd be like mixed sour cream and vanilla icing. Oddly enough,
you want to hear a good dip for strawberries? Mix sour cream and brown sugar.
Oh, yes.
Guys,
dude, I love sour cream.
It's so good.
That sounds so good. Have you ever heard of the prank where people will put vanilla pudding in like mayo jars and walk around just like straight eating it, and it looks like people are eating like mayonnaise out of the jar?
I'd probably gag. I can feel it already. What a vain cock you'd have to be to do that. Like, comment, subscribe, share.
Hit that bell.
Yeah, Jesus. Man, that'd be hard for me to do, just knowing it's in like a mayonnaise jar.
I would honestly throw up if I saw someone just like, just full on like, like you got it. I don't have a fork in here. They would just have to be like, like enjoying the fuck out of it, and I would be like,
yeah. I think you don't want to make too big of a scene about it. Like just act normal, like it's a normal thing for you to do, rather than just
enjoy. If they were enjoying it like quietly, but like just enough where you look at them, where you like they're enjoying it, and it's like what?
That's so nasty.
Just silent enjoyment. Yes,
few things nastier. So 1957, the BBC.
The British Broadcasting Company, okay.
Yeah, that's what it stands for. Okay. I was back to the first part of the story. No, I know.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
That's not what came to my mind, though. The BBC broadcast a film in their panorama. I can see your face to the side of what I'm reading. The BBC broadcast a film in their panorama current affairs series purporting to show Swiss farmers picking freshly grown spaghetti in what they called the Swiss spaghetti harvest. The BBC was soon flooded with requests to purchase a spaghetti plant, forcing them to declare the film a hoax on the news the next day. Okay, the first thing that came to my mind was, wow, what a bunch of idiots. They thought that was real on April 1st. And then I'm thinking, maybe they decided to play their own prank by just tons of people just calling them,
Calling
hey,
in
I want to
and taking
order
them
some.
seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, well, not taking them seriously, but just calling in to
yeah,
overwhelm,
that's
you know,
what I'm saying,
and like their own little joke.
Uno reverse
Wow.
card.
Wow, guys, if your parents did that, were part of that, comment. That's funny as hell.
Yeah, it is. That's great.
People
It's
fall
like
for anything, you know, it's easy.
Uno reverse
Yeah.
card.
Okay. So the reception of April Fools, how is it taken? Got a few things here. The practice of April Fool pranks and hoaxes is controversial. The mixed opinions of critics are epitomized in the reception of the 1957 BBC Spaghetti Tree hoax, which we just mentioned, in reference to which newspapers were split over whether it was a great joke or a terrible hoax on the public.
It's a
If those
great
people-
joke because people
Yeah.
probably fell for it.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they're
If I worked there and those people were calling up, if I could tell that the majority of them were legitimate, I'd be laughing my butt off all day. I mean, that would
For
just
sure.
be the most funny thing to me. I mean, it is right now. The positive view is that April Fools can be good for one's health because it encourages jokes, hoaxes, and pranks, and belly laughs, and brings all the benefits of laughter, including stress relief and reducing strain on the heart. Basically, it comes down to laughter, right? But
Yeah.
of course, that's dependent on the prank. I mean, it's completely
Yeah.
subjective. I mean, the prank I pull on this person might not be funny to you.
Correct. I've seen a couple
know?
pranks gone wrong, and I've seen a couple pranks
Oh,
that
yeah.
the person like truly thought it was funny. You know the one where they put like the cellophane in front of a door?
Oh, that pisses me off, man. Because you know what?
Really?
These people, it's funny as hell. I like watching them, but
do,
like I
yes.
would never do that to someone, and I'd be pissed if someone did it to me just because.
That's true. Because
you know,
I'm not that
number
person
one-
who would find that funny.
Well, yeah, number
Personally.
one, you're walking into that hard, straight with your nose, right? Of course, it's pliable, but it's still going to hurt. And most of these videos you see, people fall down. I mean,
The
you
one-
could get seriously injured.
The one I saw, this lady walked into it so hard that her freaking eyelashes stuck to the cellophane, and there was like an imprint of her makeup on the cellophane. but-
Mimi?
Yes, it looked like Mimi. Oh my god. Jeez, thanks for that flashback. But yeah, no, but she found
great
it
show.
funny. And she was the boss. Like it was her coworkers, not coworkers,
Oh.
employees who did it to her, and they had like
She's got to find it funny, otherwise everyone's going to hate her.
yeah. But I mean, no, she looked honestly like she probably was a cool boss. Especially if she was cool enough for that to be put up on TikTok.
Yeah, I remember this wasn't a prank, but it was a joke. This place I worked at, office setting, long time ago. It was our manager's birthday. And so the whole office was going to celebrate it, but we wanted to surprise her, right?
Oh,
So we got everything ready, cake, all this stuff, right? And we're like, how do we get her out here without leading on? So I went in there and told her this person got hurt. They fell down and like, it looks like they broke their arm or something. She came rushing out. Everyone's standing there like, surprise, happy birthday.
Oh my god.
I'm like, I was scared. I was like, I hope
that
I'm
could
not
have
gonna
gone
get
either
written
way.
up. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, well, how do you get her out? You know?
Mhm.
So have you seen on TikTok, you guys out there, Stevie,
Oh yeah.
there's this group of guys that play jokes on each other. Their like company is called Making Memories. They're out of Australia.
No.
I looked at the website because I'm like, what the hell are they all about? What do they do? Because all you see on TikTok is these videos of them playing pranks on each other, which are funny as hell and
Okay,
pretty
sounds
serious.
like Impractical Jokers, the
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
And I go on their website and they're like, we're all about having fun and making memories with friends and this and that. And I'm like, but on the show, you guys are at this like mansion with like a bitchin' pool and you're always pranking each other. And they have
Oh.
this huge like acreage of yard with these huge custom made
Sounds like
letters.
every MTV show from the freaking late 2000s. That's
Yeah.
what that sounds like. Jackass, Rob
Yeah.
Dyrdek.
Well, Kind of. It's a little different, but they got like these huge letters out in the back of the yard, which is like a mile away. It says "Making Memories" because that's the name of their site, and
Yeah.
there's other ones out there. And I looked up the website, and all they do is sell some T-shirts and like hats and stuff, and that's it. And I think there's a little more going on behind the scenes. I'll tell you after the show. Sorry, guys. My thoughts on that. I'm not going to say it on here. And I'll tell you why, but I could be completely wrong. But they seem like mostly cool guys, and they're always on there editing videos and stuff. You can see they got computers set up, and they're playing nasty pranks too. Like one guy, he'll go in and just spread this like oil all over the floor, and one of the other dudes will walk in, and they literally fall. You see them hit their head. They'll throw like oh God, what is it? They had something like a fruit. It was really hard, or a vegetable or something like at the back of their heads. They're straight up just like throw it in the nuts. They don't care.
That sounds more like abuse than a prank. That just sounds like we're out to hurt each other because it's funny and we're boys and that's funny.
Hey, I mean they're having fun. It's funny, whatever. I mean that's their deal. Like
whatever gets you views.
It's just interesting.
More power to you.
But it's funny. Yeah, look them up. I don't know what their name is. Making Memories, right? I don't know how you search them on TikTok.
I mean, if you're getting hit in the head and, with heavy, large objects or hitting your head on the ground when you slip and fall, I'm pretty sure there aren't many memories left up in that head.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of other stuff they do, but those stand out. So that's the positive view. It's good for the heart. Laughter. The negative view, we got a lot here. Well, not too much, but I might skip some.
Anxiety.
The negative view describes April Fool's hoaxes as creepy and manipulative, rude,
anxiety-inducing.
Rude and a little bit nasty, as well as based on Schadenfreude and deceit. When genuine news or a genuine important order or warning is issued on April Fool's Day, there's a risk that it will be misinterpreted as a joke and ignored. For example, when Google, known to play elaborate April Fool's Day hoaxes, announced the launch of Gmail with 1 gigabyte inboxes in 2004, an era when competing webmail servicers offered 4 megabytes or less. Many dismissed it as a joke outright. On the other hand, sometimes stories intended as jokes are taken seriously. Either way, there can be adverse effects. That's kind of funny.
I've had a Gmail since they started.
Yeah.
And you had to be invited into Gmail originally. You couldn't just sign up at one point.
Now it's like everyone's got a Gmail.
Very few people have Yahoo, and even fewer still have AOLs.
A good idea. Too bad Brad's not here. He'd be able to back this story up. But his dad, I don't know that he still does this, but you know how anything and everything you do, you buy, you do this, whatever, they want some of your information. Well, we need your phone number and your email, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, do I have to? Yes. The system won't let me. All that bullshit,
Yes.
Number one, I created
a
separate email for that. It's similar to my real email. It just has the word junk on the end. So it's my email address, junk@gmail. And so sometimes I'll write that down for it. But what his dad does or did, most of the places that require an email for ordering something or buying something, whatever it is, he would put down like, let's say his name is Joe. I'm not going to say his name on here, but let's just say his name is Joe. He'd put down like his name, not an email, but he'd put his name as like Joe the Duke of Southern California or wherever he lives or something like that.
Yeah.
And he'd see the reason he'd do that is because he would kind of trace back if he winds up getting emails, because he would put his email address with it because they'd require it, right? So he'd put Joe the Duke of Southern California, and then he'd get his product. It'd be addressed to him, Joe the Duke of Southern California. But the point was, in the future, when he starts getting spam email, the email would be addressing him as Joe the Duke of Southern California, or Joe the Cock Vein of Northern California, type thing.
You would
So you
know
kinda
who was
see-
selling your information.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I get it.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
Totally. I had to make another email simply because I had a PS4 account, or a PS account really, under my original email, and I had to create a secondary one. Long story there, but yeah, no. Like, I use that email now as that type of email. So like if I'm like, I don't really want your junk email, I just send it to a box that I will never check.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of email, obscuredr1@gmail.com. Guys, if you have a personal story of your own, hey, it works, right? If you guys got a personal story of your own, if you have good April Fool's Days pranks, send them to that email type story in the subject line. If you have personal stories of obscure happenings, paranormal, alien abduction, aliens, sightings, UFOs, UAPs, Bigfoots, anything like that, shoot them over to that email. Make sure you put story in the subject line. We will we
Read
will
them.
tell your story on Obscured Reality. Again, assuming we do take callers in the future, we will move to putting some on the show, maybe if you guys want to call in. So yeah, obscuredr1@gmail. All right, so
I do have one more prank for you.
Yeah,
back to Dad and
this better
Uncle
be a good
Lee.
one.
Oh, it will. So I think it's funny because they didn't do it on just April Fool's Day. They did this pretty regularly, and I find it hilarious. So, as you know, avid golfers, they grew up on a golf course, and there was a dogleg par 3 or something where it was possible to get a hole in one. However, it wasn't often that someone got a real hole in one.
Right.
They would hide in the bunkers or off on the side and wait for a ball to hit the green, run over, place it in the cup, run back to their hiding spot, and wait for the golfers to come down and watch the dude freak out when he thinks that he got a hole in one, and then look for his name in the paper the next day.
They should just do it to everyone golfing there that day.
They did it a lot.
Yeah, just so that when they go back, if I don't know how golf works, if they report their numbers at the front desk or anything, but they'd be like, God, people are getting a lot of holes in ones on hole number 8 today.
Yeah, I know. It's so classically childrenish,
That's
but
funny.
At the same time, it's
hey, you gotta have pranks. Fun.
It's one of those pranks that I would deem okay to do even past noon on April Fool's Day, because all you're doing is making
such a long
someone's
game.
day.
Yeah. It's such a long game too.
Oh god, that too. I mean, that's if you play a full 18. Just do the front 9 or back 9. Make it easy.
Yeah.
Scat.
So either way, there can be adverse effects such as confusion, misinformation, waste of resources when the hoax concerns people in danger, and even legal or commercial consequences. In March 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, folks, the pandemic that scared us all, various organizations and people canceled their April Fool's Day celebrations or advocated against observing April Fool's Day as a mark of respect due to the large amount of tragic deaths that COVID-19 had caused up to that point. The wish to provide truthful information to counter the misinformation about the virus and to preempt any attempts to incorporate the virus into any potential pranks. For example,
take the day and use it against itself. All right.
Yeah. For example, Google, again, decided not to continue its infamous April Fool's jokes tradition for that year because the pandemic was still ongoing. A year later in 2021, they also decided not to do pranks that year. In Thailand, the police warned ahead of April Fool's in 2021 that posting or sharing fake news online could lead to maximum of 5 years imprisonment. Oh man, don't play a joke. Your life's gone. Wow.
They're very strict about things. I do know that I believe they also have a mandatory 100-day mourning period if the king or the queen dies. If you're caught being joyful. Does that mean we don't have to
work and we get paid?
Oh, no. That means you can't be joyful. I'm pretty sure it's Thailand that has that rule. And I was like,
how depressing, man.
That's a long time of mourning. But hey, I get
Jeez.
it.
We allow anything in this
3
country,
days.
you know?
You get 3 days of bereavement and then wrap it up. Back to work.
Well, I was gonna say, like, we allow anything in this country, and you can be as happy and positive as you want. Yet look at our suicide rates and school shootings, and Jesus. Moving on from that,
considering recent,
yeah. Sorry, guys, that sucks, and don't. I worry here and there as well. I have kids. Like, man, I just think about the one where the cops did nothing, and like, I feel horrible for those people. Those kids being in there. It's ridiculous. Move on.
Yeah.
Other examples of genuine news on April 1st, mistaken as a hoax, include April 1st, 1946. Warnings about the Aleutian Island earthquake's tsunami that killed 165 people in Hawaii and Alaska. 1946. Genuine news, this is, that was mistaken as a hoax.
Hawaii and Alaska?
Yeah.
Jesus, what magnitude earthquake created that type of tsunami to go that flippin' far? Like,
well, I mean,
dang.
They do travel far.
Yeah,
and
that's incredible.
I mean, a tsunami isn't a large wave out in the middle of the ocean. Like, it doesn't. You could be out in the middle of the ocean and a tsunami would pass right under you. You'd have no idea.
Yeah, it's when it gets closer to land that the land pushes it up. Yep.
Of course, yeah. So it's, I mean,
still,
they travel far and fast.
Yeah, that's that. I just didn't realize how far. That's kind of incredible.
Yeah, I think it's obviously going to dissipate the farther it goes, but they can. I mean, it all depends on the cause, the size of the cause, and I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
So 162 people, you said, correct?
165 people died. Hawaii and Alaska, 1946 Aleutian Island earthquake.
Because they thought that there was a prank because of April 1st. Dang.
Well, no, it was just that the news came out that there was a tsunami caused by an earthquake in the Aleutian Islands, and that a bunch of people died in Hawaii and Alaska, and people thought that was a joke. That didn't happen.
Oh,
so they're pointing out the problems of playing April Fool's Day jokes. Now you have real news that's completely mistaken.
Yeah, no, I thought that the initial part was that they thought that it was fake, but now they thought the entire story was fake.
I get it. You got your wires crossed. You got your veins crossed. It's hard. Oh, geez, it's tough. So. April 1st, 1964. 1964, almost about 20 years approximately later. News that the singer Marvin Gaye was shot and killed the day before his 45th birthday by his father, Marvin Gaye Sr., on April 1st, 1964. Several people close to Gaye, such as fellow singers Smokey Robinson, Jermaine Jackson, who is obviously brother of Michael Jackson, didn't believe the news initially and had to phone call other people who knew Gaye to confirm the news. Al Sharpton, during his interview for the VH1 documentary VH1's Most Shocking Moments in Rock and Roll, referenced the coincidence of the date when he said that Gaye's death came like a sick, sad joke to all of us. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Is VH1 still even a channel?
Oh, what? I don't think so.
Wow.
I mean, it could be. I don't know, but it's Lord. like MTV's not even MTV anymore.
Yeah, I actually really liked VH1 with like the behind the 90s type thing, like behind the 80s. I was like, the dirty part of like that era that no one tells you about. It's great.
Yeah. April 1st, 1995, news that the singer Selena was shot and killed by the former president of her fan club. Yolanda Saldivar on March 31st, 1995.
She's getting out of jail soon.
Oh, God. When radio... hang on. This one's almost in. When radio station Keda, Keda, broke the news on March 31st, 95, many people accused the staff of lying because the next day was April Fool's Day. Okay, well, cool. But there won't be any more songs from her, guys. Yeah, I know nothing about that.
Really? About Selena?
Yeah, I knew she had died, but yeah.
Look, J-Lo did a really great representation of Selena in the movie Selena, so I recommend that.
Yeah, I think I
Great.
saw the movie, but that was ages ago.
Yeah,
probably with a girlfriend or something.
Probably. Yeah, no, I remember the movie. It was great. But yeah, she was killed by the president of the fan club, and she gets out of jail soon, or has gotten out of jail, and a lot of people have like threatened her life already.
Yeah. Oh boy, I wonder if you were popular, if you were a star, and you had a fan club. Like, the first thing that comes to my mind is you might want to be careful around. You never know who's in that crowd. Like, not saying that there's someone there that's not their fan, but it's like maybe a little too cuckoo in the brain.
Yeah, I feel
I'm
like
your biggest fan. No, really. I am.
There's a little bit of like obsession and jealousy, and like, there's a little bit of a lot going on with that, and it is dangerous. So, I would never want to be popular or famous and have a fan club. Oh, that'd be horrible.
Yeah. Well, April 1st, 2004.
Oh Lord.
Gmail is announced to the public by Google. Some of the announced features for the service were not considered technologically possible with the technology available in 2004. Okay.
1 gigabyte of storage, you said?
Yeah.
Versus 4 megabytes, like.
Yeah.
Wow. I graduated high school in 2004, man. Like, this.
And we're just now getting up to gigabit speeds for internet. Well, for consumer.
Yeah.
Like, geez. April 1st, 2005. Mm-hmm. News that the comedian Mitch Hedberg had died on March 29th. So there's that one. April 1st, 2005. Announcement about Powerpuff Girls Z by Aniplex Cartoon Network and Toei Animation. The TV show was an anime adaptation of the cartoon The Powerpuff Girls, and the idea that a cartoon would get turned into an anime was considered very outlandish in 2005.
Yeah, as this that was never would have flown.
Yeah, as this was the first time it happened.
This day and age, that would take off.
Oh, yeah.
Great idea, but 2005, way too early to introduce anime to mainstream culture. Yeah. You April were a weirdo 1st. If you liked anime back then. You were. Well, trust me, I know. I had thousands of dollars in anime.
Because you liked it.
Hell yeah. I had so much in the way of books, like thousands of dollars in books. Don't judge me.
I've never understood it. I still don't. I'd like to. I just don't.
It's the type of stories that they are. It's just different than anything you find in America. The drawing is pretty cool too.
Yeah. I like a lot of the artwork, definitely. But April 1st, 2008, announcement that the nation state's government simulation browser game had received a cease and desist letter from the United Nations for unauthorized usage of its name and emblem for the fictional intergovernmental organization where players, as nations, can create and vote on international law within the game world, and that due to this, nation states has now changed its version of the UN into the World Assembly, or WA, with a different emblem. On April 2008, nation states developer Max Berry revealed that the letter from the UN was in fact real, and he had actually received it on January 21st, 2008, but chose only to start complying with it on April 1st to deliberately fool people into thinking the announcement was the annual nation states April Fool's prank, and that because the legal action was real, the changes are permanent.
Well played, sir. I like that one. That's good.
Yeah, I'm seeing some thinking in there. April 1st, 2009. Announcement that the long-running soap opera Guiding Light was being canceled. The date was so heavily associated with jokes and pranks that even some of the cast and crew didn't believe the news when it was announced by CBS,
remember that.
The TV network that aired the show.
I remember that.
Remember the name? That's it. Never saw it. Don't care.
I've never seen it either. All I know is that I do remember that because it was just one of those things like, wow, video killed the radio star, literally, because they started off as radio shows.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you definitely see the problem with major news on a day like April 1st if you're going to have it, you know.
Let's just not report news on April 1st, just unless it's like an absolute emergency, so that people understand this is for real.
Which then you're talking about having to put some type of line in there saying this is real, this just happened. It would have to be like a major event, but still,
you're
not gonna believe it.
This is not, just because it's so ingrained in our culture.
Yeah,
that's a
shame. April 1st, 2011. I thought this one was kind of funny. Isaiah Thomas declared for the NBA draft. Thomas is short, and basketball players in the NBA are usually taller than average, as height gives advantage to playing basketball. Duh. That one was kind of funny. I just thought it was a joke because he's so short.
How short was he? Like,
I don't know.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
That was kind of rude, actually, of them. Normally they are taller. Like, yes, clearly height has an advantage.
Oh,
rude.
Yeah. I remember I went to one basketball game, NBA. My friend's dad at the time, was a professional poker player. Or, no, I'm sorry, not professional poker player. He was a professional gambler. Whatever that meant. So he got some like courtside tickets. So we were like 10 rows up from the floor, and these guys came. I'd never been to a basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tall. I'm 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
These guys came running out right next to where we were sitting. Like we were sitting right next to the little alleyway. Awesome. They come running out.
That's really cool.
Oh my God. Sweet. These guys came running out. I was like, holy crap. They are massive.
Mm-hmm.
Massive.
Oh yeah.
I met, I'm not going to say met, I saw like right in front of me, Shaquille O'Neal once at an after party. So we were, me and a friend would work twice a year for this guy who owned a clothing company out here. And we worked for him twice a year going to these trade shows, Las Vegas and Salt Lake City, Utah. And we would be 2 out of 4 or 5 guys that would help set up their whole booth, their whole display inside the building, and get the whole thing set up. Take like 3 days to do, about 4 days to do. He'd pay us very well, pay for travel. And then we had like 3 days or something like that, 3 or 4 days, just nothing to do. So we go do whatever. Well, one of the guys who worked for him, who was there, I'm sorry. There was a guy who used to work for him, one of his distributor guys, who worked for Shaquille O'Neal's clothing line at the time, Twism. Remember Twism, guys?
No.
Yeah, Twism, TWISM. So he worked for him. He worked for Shaquille O'Neal's company now, but obviously knows these guys. So they invited them to some after party they were having up in this hotel room at the top of Caesar's Palace. And we're talking a bar in there with a hotel employee bartending, plenty of bedrooms, if you know what I mean, like a fountain inside the hotel room, like right in the middle after you walk in past the bar. And then you go out back or out on the outside, and it's the top floor. It's the plexiglass walls up, overlooking the strip, huge pool, jacuzzi. Wow. They were, Houston 500 was there. Anybody remember her? Houston 500. She's the one that was,
should I Google this? I feel like I should.
Google it.
Yeah,
guys, if you know Houston 500, comment down below. There's Stephanie, Google it.
I am. I was looking for my phone.
Let's just say a record-breaking 500 men. Google it.
She's very good friends with Dr. Vankak.
That's a new name.
Yes.
So we went up there. So like she was there and a bunch of other chicks, and these guys, I'm telling you. So it was a party I think the hotel room was Shaquille O'Neal's cousin. Okay.
I shouldn't have Googled that. Don't Google that.
Yeah. No, Google it.
Okay. Yeah. No, Google it, but don't.
Yeah. So it was his
Whoa.
cousin, Shaquille O'Neal's cousin, that had the hotel room for this party, whatever. And these chicks, like 3 or 4 of them, were getting in the pool, just bare naked, and they were just tossing $100 bills in the pool and stuff. I'm like, Jesus. So, point is, Shaquille O'Neal
The
walked
roast
in.
beef. Swear to God.
He came out like right where we were outside. There's a DJ and a bunch of people. It was right in front of me. I looked at him. I was like, oh my God, I have never felt so small in my damn life.
Welcome to my life.
Ridiculous. Oh
Man,
my God, he was massive.
He's like
Massive.
7'3" or something. I don't know. He's a big man.
I don't know. I don't care. He's massive. It doesn't even matter, man.
I'm now gonna have to delete my fucking browser history. Thank you so much for that one.
Yeah, you're gonna get FBI's gonna raid you. Houston 500. She was there. I don't know who she was. I don't care, but yeah, you like that? No, thank you. But hey, you know, famous.
It won a AVN award. In 2000.
Let me guess. A stands for adult.
I would assume, yeah. But it was awarded the best-selling tape of '99.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm
so good on that.
We're not even going to go there. We'll go there after the show. Yeah, so that's all I have for April Fools. I was going to look up some pranks, but they had enough in here. I mean, we go on all night about pranks, right? Mm-hmm. So I'd be spending like hours like trying to find the best ones. You guys know pranks. Comment them down below. I want to hear them. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? I was surprised how far back it dated. Yeah.
That, and I'm surprised how many different cultures have their own version of it.
Yeah.
What, like, the similarities that some of them share, like what was it, the Turkish had the same, like, anything afternoon was like not cool, which is the same as like any UK derivative. So that was interesting, but the fact that like Iran, I think that was probably the most,
that one got me the most
surprising. Yeah,
same here. I was surprised by how far back it went, but the biggest was hearing of a place like Iran celebrating. I'm like, geez, like I want to do a little more. I want to look into that one a little bit and see what it's about.
I like how they call it like the 13-day after, but it only it usually happens on the 11th or the 12th. Like, I really like that.
Yeah, I have a feeling that it's probably still a fairly oppressive day and is not inclusive of everyone. I have a feeling, but I don't know. Like I say, hey, any of you guys are Iranian, you have knowledge on that,
please
you have
let
family
us know.
out there.
Yeah, from what I saw.
Yeah, let us know. I'm curious to hear. You know, like I said, I'm glad that supposedly everyone's allowed to go outside and have fun that day.
Wikipedia says they go out and picnic.
Yeah, well, because they probably can't most other days, you know, which sucks. But yeah, I'm with you on those. Date in Iran.
Yeah,
but
definitely want. I want to read more into that because that's very interesting.
Yeah,
but then again, that particular section of the world has had a incredibly diverse, I guess. What's the thing that has like all the cars and it spins? I have lost my words. The rotary thing,
clue.
Where like it's an old people's address book. Either ways.
You know what I'm talking Rolodex.
About. Yes,
Rolodex.
Like they've just had like a Rolodex of like rulers there, and so like that's very interesting that you know, something like that has carried on for this long since like what was it, 500 BC? Like that's something.
Yeah, those were possibilities. The main one sounds like 1939, but yeah, even back to 500 BC. I'm like, oh, really? Jesus.
Yeah,
hey,
I mean,
you know, gotta have fun. Gotta have fun. Yeah,
it was very interesting.
Yeah, that's all I have for April Fools, man. I already played my
great.
prank. I already played my prank. Very surprised you didn't catch me on that, but I'm glad you didn't. I was contemplating holding it off till the end of the show.
I immediately was just like, obviously,
wow,
something
what
happened.
a waste! Hell no.
I was like, well, obviously something happened, and I was like, just roll with the punches. We'll see.
Right.
Try not to jump to conclusions. Just save the rage for after the show. But we're good.
Hey, if it's uncontrollable, it's uncontrollable, you know?
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's what I mean. Situations happen in everyone's life, so that's why I was like,
yeah.
All right, cool.
You never know.
You know?
Obscured Reality is not going anywhere, folks. It's just a joke. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share. Definitely comment good pranks you guys have pulled or you've had. Definitely like to hear them. We'll do another show on them at some point. Curious. I'm sure there'll be another April Fool's show in maybe a year.
I'm gonna say so. I'm gonna see into the future and predict that it's definitely gonna happen, but you're not gonna catch me next year.
Ooh, I have ways and a long time to think.
Nope.
I have ways. I will get you.
I prefer you do it.
Hey guys, do you prefer a pranker next year or not? I prefer yes. Yeah.
No.
So yeah, that's it for April Fool's show. Unless you have a joke you want to play on me, which I doubt. And I made a mistake. Send your pranks to obscuredr1@gmail.com. Don't comment those down below. You can, but if you want them on the show, send them to the email. As well as any other odd happenings to you. We've all had them, so we'll share them for you. With that, I'm going to sign out. What about you?
I am as well, but I'm also going to say, don't forget to hit that bell because every Friday we have a new episode release and you want to be there for that. So when you subscribe, hit that bell, tell your friends, share the channel. I won't.
Yeah. No, just because I don't like, I never, I don't know about those things on YouTube. Like that's not something I do. Like I subscribe, right? But I don't go in and comment. I don't, do all these things. And it's like, I always hear it. So I just don't think about it.
I comment sometimes.
I need to start doing it then.
Sometimes on people's stuff. Sometimes.
Yeah. But, I'm too busy. I wish I had the time.
I have a meeting in the morning, so I'm also going to be signing off because what's better than going to a morning meeting on your day off?
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Corporate world.
Yep. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check back with us often for new episodes. Feel free to drop a comment and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Obscured Reality.